Strange days are back again.
Strange days are here again. Now I'm dancing with my imaginary friends.
In my head, they say what I need to hear, whispering lies that make my problems disappear. Then I get paranoid. Oh no, I let them in again. Should I play along? Why yes, let's play a game of pretend. 1, 2, 3, here we go. Time to let my crazy show. They feed on fears, they twist my thoughts. Act like kings, but they're just bots. Truth is, they just fucking bore me. Now it's my turn, I'll flip the game. Step inside, let's play insane. Let's get this psycho circus started. You're at my party, dearly departed. I can make this fun, do you wanna run? I'm pulling out the big one, just for fun. Pop the champagne and run, bitch, run! Strange days are back again. Still dancing with my imaginary friends. In my head they say what I need to hear on repeat till the silence disappears. 1, 2, 3, now you know. This is how I let my crazy show. They prey on doubt, my insecurities. Play pretend like they've got authority. But truth is, they just fucking bore me.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, and I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord.
Now niggas wanna call.
Yo, where the fuck is you at, bro? Nigga, I'm pulling the bike out now, nigga. I'm smoking this wood, I'm putting it out. Man, hurry the fuck up, bro. You supposed to be ready. I've been calling your phone for like an hour. Hurry the fuck up. Why you ain't ready? I've been ready since you been ready, nigga. I'm waiting on you. Man, I'm outside. Open the garage. Bike life till I die.
Rev my engine till my tires spin around with a fire. Hold my willy in the air as long as I can. Desire makes my two-star right so I can get all of my power. I'll be screaming bike life till I die. Rev my engine till my tires spin around with a fire. Hold my willy in the air as long as I can. Desire makes my two-star right so I can get all of my power. I'll be screaming bike life. I got a bitch on the back of my bike, she don't even know my name now. Riding around the city, pop willies, I can't stay down. 12 o'clock, my bike, remember practicing on the playground. No, I'm not a rock star, but I like to rock hard. Smash out on the cop car, chase me if you got heart. Never push the panic button, but I'll push the start button. Villain in my hood, causing problems, always starting some. Get chased by the cops, I'm fleeing, I will leave far from you. Screaming, pull it over, cut the engine, I won't fall for. I won't stall for 'em, pick it up and watch me ball for 'em. Fuck the cops and undercover cars, I won't fall for 'em. Fuck the cops and undercover cars, I won't fall for 'em. My plans for the night is to go ride with the bros. Can you roll me up a wood, ready before I hit the road? But girl, you rolling with me too though. Just go get your boots on, get your helmet too though. Cruising through the city, round, just me and you though. Colors in my bike switching up like the game of Uno. What I'm riding today, who know? Want the 4-stroke or the 2-stroke.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord.
Like life till I die.
Rev my engine till my tires spin around with a fire. Hold my willy in the air as long as I can. Desire makes my two-stroke right so I can get all of my power. I'll be screaming bike life till I die. Rev my engine till my tires spin around with a fire. Hold my willy in the air as long as I can. Desire makes my two-stroke right so I can get all of my power. I'll be screaming bike life till it's time to put the guns down and come ride with me. Take flight with me, ride through the day and night with me. At 12 o'clock you should just get high with me. Not talking about smoking blunts, just Willie bikes with me. Ride through the day into the night with me. Next day pull them out at sunrise with me. All my brothers bound to pull up and ride with me. Take flight with me, all night with me. Rev my engine till my tires spin around with a fire. Hold my willy in the air as long as I can. Desire makes my two-stroke right so I can get all of my power. I'll be screaming bike life till I die. Rev my engine till my tires spin around with a fire. Hold my willy in the air as long as I can. Desire makes my two-stroke right so I can get all of my power. I'll be screaming bike life till I die.
Shout out to everybody who ride bikes 2019 with me. Shout out Rise Up. Shout out 12 O'Clock Boys. Shout out Brett, man. I be watching you. I look up to you, man. Shout out to Mick Mills mainly on this one. Bike life till I die.
Armor, my steel-toe boots, and I'm going to give you a foot in the fucking ass. And you know what? I'm going to save some other Christian from you trying to fuck them over, right? And that's going to get me a gift in heaven, bitch. That's going to get me a gift in heaven. There you go. There you go. Hey, super sticker. See there? I already got a gift in heaven. I already got one. I got one on Earth right here, too, called a super sticker for Summer Moon Utah Wells channel. So there you go. Stick that in your crawl. Yeah.
Man, they're attacking today. Hello?
Hello?
Internet is really, don't know what's wrong with it. I've got a couple of things to say to Marlena, Crystal, Lisa Kay, whoever else wants to have a bitch about me out there. I did the right thing by speaking to Jimmy. I didn't use my own pictures. I'm clearing this up now for misinformation that's going to be spread through Lisa Kay's mouth on Monday.
You know what? It doesn't, you know what, Phoebe? It doesn't matter if you did or not. I'm going to tell you something. If I want to pull my shirt up and I want to give some guy a freaking boob shot, that is my business. That isn't Marlena's business. That isn't Crystal's business. And that isn't nobody else's. Matter of fact, if you go to the Mardi Gras, the people are walking around with no shirts on at all, right? Women are walking all over the place with no tops on. And there's a lot of places, you know, that women do. Hell, there's women walking out there in the streets, you know, during warm weather. They might as well not have their tops on, right? They might as well not have a top on with everything hanging out like it is. I'm going to tell you what, we live in 2025. People show their, I hate to say this, but you know what? Everybody shows.
So, Prayer Garden, listen, guys, you got to bear with me. I sound manly today. I have laryngitis. I've had it for 2 days. I didn't go live partially because of that yesterday. Ask Marlena. We were trying to connect all day and go live, and I finally gave it up and said my voice is too bad. I'm not going to go, and it was Easter. So I'm here today the best I can. Please bear with me. Prayer Garden, because it's 2025, do they rewrite the Bible every year since you permit all the porn and nakedity? I'm just curious. I mean, you're so religious, but let's continue.
Their ass, right? Everybody shows their ass. When I'm trying to say, I mean, every where I come from, you can't walk down the street without seeing somebody's ass cracked. Their pants are hanging off of them. You know, their butt looks like a balloon, and their underwear and stuff. I mean, come on. Nobody cares anymore. Okay, we don't care. We don't care. Wait, you're supposed to be ashamed of your body? You're supposed to be ashamed of what you got? Hey, baby, if God gave it to you, then you need to be showing it. You need to be using it, right? You
Well,
didn't
if I
get
had
it
a
for
body
nothing.
like, if I'd had a body like that, I wouldn't be ashamed to show it.
Oh, hell no. I'm
But
going to tell you.
I wouldn't do that because I'm not that kind of girl anyway. And to find out answers for Summer, what's it going to take? I did a fake offer of $10,000 too, as if I'd follow through with it. All I wanted was an answer for Summer Moon Utah Wells. What's the problem with that? Why does everyone have a problem with what I did?
They don't have a problem with what you did. They just want to make it a problem. You know, these people
my name out there.
I'm going to tell you, when Crystal looks, she must think you have it like that because that guy was wanting it, right? How he was like, come pick me up. I don't know what you showed him, but he was like, come get me, baby. Come pick me up. I need you to pick me up.
Prayer Garden, you know, Marlena said that that's you pretending to be the Jimmy Long guy. And of course you would know what she said because she's writing you, you dumbass. She's catfishing you, Phoebe, or you're making it all up. But let's continue because I got a surprise for you. I brought out my red lipstick. I'm going to put it on just for you right here on live. Okay? Show your face, you ugly hag. You burned up or something? Like, what's up with you that you can't show your face? You embarrassed of yourself?
Right now, I mean, he must have liked what he saw, and that's what she's jealous of. Because when people see her fucking face, people see that Humpty Dumpty fucking body she has, nobody be wanting that shit. Nobody be wanting that powdered up face with that red lipstick sticking out. Looks like fucking Casper the Friendly Ghost. Actually, it looks more like one of his uncles, right? And she looks more like one of his uncles. She reminds me of Humpty Dumpty sitting on the fucking wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. You know, she reminds me of that Humpty Dumpty thing that I had to look at all the time in a storybook when I was a fucking kid. You know, with her freaking big rounded fucking body. The only difference was, you know, Humpty Dumpty wasn't, Humpty Dumpty was peachy color, right? It was peachy color. And this bitch is like Casper the Ghost Humpty Dumpty. And it's like, whoa, you know, with this red lipstick on, the only thing you see is her dick sucker hanging out. That's like all, right? And she goes around running it. And I'll tell you something.
You know what, Prayer Garden? The way you talk, we can hear it in your mouth that you ain't even got no motherfucking teeth. I'm sure you grab a lot of dick with them gums. You need to shut your whole ass trap. You're so fucking holy. You want to talk dirty, bitch? We'll talk dirty. Because I'm going to rock your ass right into the fucking cement. I promise you. I'm about done with your shit. I hope you like my red lipstick. It's my favorite. It's actually a lip plumper. It's a Too Faced melted matte, liquefied matte, long wearing lipstick by Nasty Girl.
Put it on, put it on, put it on, put it on. Bright. Make it bright, make it bright.
Mwah. This
Make
bitch.
it dick sucker work, right?
Yes, Marlena's on panel, Rachel. Hello, everybody. I didn't get a chance to say hello. So I want to sit here. What do you think about this? The other day, she goes live and she starts talking all this shit about the Jimmy Long, and you hear her stories change as she's saying it. Am I imagining that?
No, you're not imagining that.
Let me turn my speaker down. I got you too loud.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know, but let's continue.
Hey, there's a couple in the comments that want my Snapchat, or not my Snapchat, my Cash App. Go ahead and give it to them. I put it in the comments, but I don't know if it showed up.
You know what,
If you
Marlena?
want to. If you want
If you're
to.
okay, yeah, I'm really not comfortable. I try not to share the cash apps over here, but I don't mind. I can put it in my community post after my live. And if anybody wants to send her a couple dollars, you could do so. This is not payment for my live. This is only if you want to help Marlena.
I'm not asking nobody for nothing.
Marlena, wait, please. I don't want no backlash from it because I'm not doing this as a form of payment for Marlena. I will put it, if you want to put it in the chat, Marlena, that's fine. I'll allow you to do it. I'm not going to do that because I don't. I have only because of everything I've been through.
Yeah, let's not start that. Let's not start that again. But it's there. If they want to do it, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine too. Let's just make that clear.
Okay.
And you're not paying me for nothing.
Put it in my comment in my community post, but I really don't feel comfortable putting it in my live. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. Please don't take that personal.
No, I'm not. I just don't want them to start on you about,
she's
dropping her cash app.
All of my lawsuits and everything. I don't want anybody to have a reason to say, oh, she's tragedy pimping, or because I've never collected money on my panel and on my channel, and I just try to keep it that way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I do appreciate you.
Oh no, I mean you can put it if they want to. I mean, how about this? If I would just put up my email, how about if I put up my email? And if they want to talk to me, they can talk to me there.
Yes, that works. That's great. Thank you.
That way I got control on this side.
Okay, Moneybag says they want to help you. So just Moneybags, email her and you guys can do it that way. I am, however, while I'm doing this, going to put my referral link up for my StreamYard because I am also stuck in a hard, rock and hard place and I'm not even going to ask for money. But $10 a month off my StreamYard would be nice if anybody wants to get a StreamYard off mine. It'll take $10 off my bill. That's the most I do. Okay, now I'm going to continue with Prayer Garden, but as you see here, she changes stories. She talks shit. I just want you to listen to her foul mouth while she claims to be. She gets a cash app. Just listen to this. We're just going to go through and listen to this. And then, Marlena, I have a video that Tiffany, I haven't listened to it. It's a short video that Tiffany Marie had put up about you packing a suitcase. I want to listen to it with you and see if you'll respond. See if there's any reason to respond to it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Let's finish. We got about
this
4
bitch
more
is
minutes.
insane. She is insane because
make a good match.
Yeah, they do.
They're perfect together.
Absolutely. And the other night, when I was talking about freaking what the hell is that chick's name? That was talking to Marlena before. Lips.
Yeah.
When I was talking. Yeah, do you remember the other night I was saying that Lips is just pissed off because she didn't think to ask the hard questions and get the information that we was getting, and then this Crystal bitch used that. She used that today. She used my motherfucking words on her panel like they was hers. What the fuck, you crazo? You are an insane bitch that is fucking obsessed with PG. You got some mental issues, girl. And I'm going to tell you what. You can stick Marlena up your ass because I'm going to tell you something. Marlena has been out here. We got everything we want, everything we need already from Marlena. You ain't sitting over there getting shit we don't already know, right? Tell me one thing you're getting that we don't already know. Because it ain't nothing. It isn't nothing other than she lied her ass off about, then she says, Andy. I don't know. Over here, she says, I don't know Andy and Jody Sue.
I haven't heard her say she doesn't know Andy and Jody Sue. Marlena, you told me you know them as dealers for Dawn and Candace, that you don't know them well. Marlena's younger than them, Prayer Garden. How old are you, Marlena?
I'll be 38 on Mother's Day.
Oh, so I guess you and Jody are about the same age, but you're younger than Andy. You know, do you want to just explain your relationship and how well you know them, how long you've known them? What do you know about them? Just go into detail so that Prayer Garden can't fucking say shit no more.
Um, I know of Jody Sue and Andy. That's it. I know that they was selling the Wellses, whatever they needed, and that's about it. I don't congregate with them at the Burger King or the Booger King. She says, and this and that. That all that stuff is not. That is not true at all. She's making up 90% of her stuff and adding to a story that I did not tell her.
I mean, y'all are neighbors. Like, you all live around there. Of course, you're going to know them, but that doesn't mean you know their personal life, right? Like, you know
I
who
don't know
they
their
are.
personal life at all. I didn't know. I know that she had one son or maybe two sons or whatever, but like know them personally, like hang out and talk to them and go to their house. No,
And
I
that
knew
just
of
proves
them.
it. She has one son and one daughter. So there you go. That just proved it. Marlena don't even know about Jody Sue's children. Do you guys
I
get
knew
it
about
now?
one son.
Or what do you think? Have you met her son?
One time, and that was at the gas station last year.
Have you ever heard anything about him being violent? Because Fred spreads rumors and says that the little boy used to beat up the grandma and all kinds of shit. I just have a hard time believing a lot of shit Fred said.
He's,
I'm not
I mean, the son has never like talked to me, so I don't know if he's violent or not. I've just
okay.
seen him. I haven't had a conversation with him.
But it's not like somebody around a neighborhood you would hear he's this bad kid or right.
That I know of, no. I mean, I ain't never heard nothing bad about him.
There you go. That should stop a lot of rumors about Jody Sue and Andy's child. Okay? If the neighborhood don't know him, that means he ain't a bad kid and he hasn't done anything bad. Y'all need to stop.
And that's
But
like
okay,
Jody Sue talking bad about me. She don't even know me that well to be talking and calling me things that she does and this and that. And she don't know me
well, I
that well
only
either.
have an 8-minute video here and we've only been on for 22 minutes. So if you want, we can go over. You go real quick, pick the name of a live that Jody Sue did that you want to respond to, and I'll throw it on and we can easily do that.
I don't really know which one she's really been on. I don't follow
Okay.
her. I don't keep up with her.
I'll just go pick one from her channel, but let's finish Prayer Garden here and we'll go over and
She was
pick
on one, Remain Calm.
she was on. I can't share Remain Calm. Remain's mad at me for no reason.
Okay, well then that's fine. Just pick one and I'll respond to it.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll do that, but let me finish this.
Okay.
I really didn't know them. I didn't see them, that much. Like, I probably seen them. I don't even know. She had me send her a picture of Andy because she motherfucking didn't know what he even looked like. She didn't even know what Andy looked like. But now she says, oh, when she was younger, she's up on the hill, partying with them. She's up there,
Here's what I can say about the truck. Moonshine asked me to go over the truck. Let me state this really quickly. There is a guy here in Pittsburgh that I grew up with. His name is Brian Cutshaw. I believe his aunt is Linda Cutshaw. Brian Cutshaw told me around the time Summer Wells went missing, he didn't tell me the color of the original truck, but I was told the truck was painted. I was told that he had gone to Tennessee to pick up this truck, and I don't know if it's a Toyota. He didn't. I think he told me it was not a Toyota, but it was a model that looks very, very similar to a Toyota. And they painted it and they brought it here. His name's Cutshaw. Linda's Cutshaw. Linda has been suing me freaking relentlessly. There's ties to Tennessee, and that's all I can say about the truck. I have to wait for the feds and the FBI, the TBI, and the police to respond to me. I did address the truck, Moonshine Girl. You were in the chat in my last live, and that's pretty much all more I can say about it. Do I know if it's a real tip? No. But is it worth looking into? Absolutely, because of the way they acted when I asked them about this truck. Do you understand? That's all I can say. If I see something that looks like a credible tip, whether it is or not, I'm going to turn it in because I want Summer found. Plain and simple. And that's all I'm going to say, because if there is anything to it, I don't want to destroy an investigation. And sometimes, as a YouTube creator, some of the things you got to find out, one, for your safety, and two, for the safeties of others around Summer and other areas, you have to keep your mouth shut. Like, there's just like rules to this shit that people need to follow, and they don't, because it hurts and it hinders the investigation in Summer Will's case. So I'll put tidbits out, but I'm not going to tell you everything. And that's my prerogative. That's what I want to do, because I think if I'm wrong, I'll come out in a month or two and I'll say, okay, that was not a tip. They didn't do nothing about it. But I'm going to sit back and let them look into it and see what happened. And if I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong. Plain and simple. That's all there is to it. But I'm not going to skip a tip, and I'm not going to keep going over it. And I'm sorry, Moonshine Girl. You're a good sub. And I don't mean that in any ignorant way. I just feel for the safety of humans, that it is not responsible to come out here and say everything you find out. A lot of it is not true. I don't live in Tennessee. I don't know that. I can give you my theories. I can give you my opinions. I can give you things I found based off of my research. I can never, ever come to YouTube and say this is fact, because you know what? I don't wear a badge.
I can
don't
say I
have
live in Tennessee.
What, honey?
I said I can say I live in Tennessee and I'm from that part. I'm proud. I got a shirt that says I'm from Beach Creek. And it's got my name on the top of my shirt, so that they all know that I'm from down there. And the one that they've been talking about on YouTube, I'm right here. I'm in public. Come on.
I love that, Marlena. I'm like that too. I think anybody should represent the area they're from and love their city, right? I'm from Pittsburgh. We're still here. You cannot not love Pittsburgh if you live in Pittsburgh. Anybody who knows anything about football would know that, you know?
My shirt says actually straight out of Beach Creek, Tennessee.
Woot woot. I love it. You should come
And then
on
I
live
had
with me and wear it.
and then I had one made with, I'm having one made with Summer's face on it and stuff.
Aw, that's beautiful. See, that's a thing too. I made a little plaque for Summer in my yard, but I wouldn't go sell it. Did you? You know who Ziggy is, right? Because of Fred. You see what she does? She makes ornaments and all kinds of shit and sells that shit with Summer's face on it. What do you think of that? What do you think about these YouTubers, Marlena, that profit off of selling pictures of it?
I think that the ones that did profit a lot, I think they have something in the. I mean, that's something that PG said. Something about them having something in that race. So the ones that's in that holler that is made, 100,000 or whatever they've made off of it, and just get people to feel sorry for them, whatever. They're making that off of a dead kid or a missing kid or an unloved kid, whatever it is. That's sorry. They should be out here doing their best and trying to find her without that money.
Right. And that's why I didn't want you to be offended. I just try to keep that, like with the cash apps and stuff, off my channel, because a lot of these creators have ruined that for people that do want to pay somebody for a interview or to have them on their panel, because they've paid too much and they've played games, they've confused things, and now it almost feels like a sin if you want to thank somebody for coming up on the panel. So I do want to apologize to you, Marlena, but my channel's been through hell. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
It's okay. And something that PG said that I ain't told nothing and nobody else know, because I knew that she was going to run with the story and she's going to make it up and twist it all the way around. And two, I didn't ask her for a picture of Andy. I said there was a guy that boosted me off. It looked like Andy. Could she send me a recent picture of Andy? And she had it.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I have a question for you. You went on PG's one night, and PG was stating that you had seen Andy in a black truck that was low to the ground with the neon like cricket vinyl Jody and Andy on the back. That's true?
It was on the side of the windows, not on the back window. It's on the side windows. And he was at the Burger King. He drove right past me that morning. Yes.
And there was a female in the car with him?
Yes, and I never said it could be Jody Sue. I said it could have. It looked. It was a blonde-headed girl or a dark-headed girl because she had her back to me, and I really wasn't slowing down to give it enough time because I also think that PG had something to do with me being followed because I think she was telling people where I was at.
I believe that.
Because since I quit talking to her, I've not had no problems of nobody finding me.
That's crazy. Okay, so let me describe. Andy's new wife is a skinny blonde. She's kind of tall and skinny and blonde. Did that match it, or was the lady heavy set?
She's about Jody Sue size. She wasn't really skinny.
Then that wasn't his wife. That's all I wanted to say. So Marlena seen Andy with somebody who was not his wife. Okay? Jasper. That's my dog's name. I understand you want to help Marlena, and she did. Marlena, what's your email address? I'll put it in my chat right now.
It's Marlena Crawford 1987 at Gmail. Just come talk to me there. Anybody that wants to talk to me there, come talk to me there.
Oh, that's all capitals, but you guys get it. And I spelled it wrong, but you get it. Marlena Crawford 1987 at gmail.com.
And it's not with an I, it's with an E.
Money, do that privately.
Do you hear me?
Well,
it's not with an I, it's with an E.
Yeah. All right, just do that privately with her. I don't mind if you do that. I'll share her email, but I don't want to be responsible for, you guys know. My channel's been through hell. You've seen how they treat me. If I would dare to put Marlena's Cash App up here, I would be shamed to the edges of the fucking earth. You know what I mean?
PG's already mad because I'm over here.
Oh, I know. She's pissed. Good.
After she already said, I don't care. I don't tell them whose channel they can go on or whatever. You can go on whoever's channel you want to.
You know, Ziggy did the same thing. And then when I reached out to Fred, she about had a fucking conniption fit and came online and started attacking me. She didn't want Fred talking to me. See, I feel like people were handlers in Summer's case. That's why I feel like Summer was abducted. Because it seems like some of these creators are handling suspects in Summer's case. And they're placing them. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And where is Ziggy been?
I think not to interrupt, but I think PG is protecting Fred too, and I think she's protecting there's several, I think, for PG. I think she's protecting Andy. I think she's protecting Jody Sue. Because that's all the people that she always talks about. And then now she's like, oh, I took you under my wing and I'm gonna protect you and this and that. No, you set me out to the wolves. Exactly what she did.
Yep. All right. Here, I came to Ziggy's channel. Let's see. Ziggy has not been on. She hasn't posted a video in 2 months. I don't know when her last. It's been a while since a short. She hasn't had a live in 2 weeks. But she is on here posting. She posted an Easter one yesterday. She posted this. We went over this the other day with Marlena, an obituary. Here she is posting pictures of Marlena and her ex. Like, what the hell is this? Marlena, I'm sorry I'm sharing this right now, but I'm showing them what Ziggy's doing.
Why is she posting that?
That's what I want to know. Here's what it says. Redid and reposted because I wanted to add this picture of Marlena and Daniel together. For those curious, this is Marlena's ex and father of her child. Everyone that knows him calls him Daniel, but his government name is Chad. They seem to be there seemed to be some confusion from some messages I am getting. I am just posting this here just for reference. However, Chad Arnold is Marlena's brother-in-law, basically. Yeah, and I think the whole world knows that, Ziggy. Why do you have to keep putting that out there? It's been put out there a million times. The one who has custody of Marlena's daughter now. We're high school sweethearts and had children together but never married. Two completely different people. Would you like to respond to that?
Yes, they
Wait,
are
and
two
then she
different.
got this. Look, and then she put this in there too.
Why is she doing that?
I don't know, Marlena. How do you feel about that?
I don't feel good about that. Because that's my personal life. They don't have nothing to do with Summer whatsoever.
Nothing. And he got another child, right? Like, doesn't he have an older child?
He's got two older children, and one is deceased, and one is almost 18. Yes.
And she's putting his business out there, just like Journey, she's putting Journey out there, she's putting his other children out there. And I've seen pictures of his other child. Actually, Marlene, I thought it was your daughter because she looks like you. You
We
know what I
got
mean?
they got different mothers, but they look like me. They both do.
They do. They do. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you're putting other children at risk, Ziggy, when you
And
do
she's
things.
underage, and she didn't get permission to Ziggy didn't get permission to post her if she didn't post out or black
She
out her
didn't.
face. She
She
didn't,
didn't
and she's
post
still
her.
underage of 18.
Yeah, no, she didn't post her, but she's posting her daddy. And what does that lead to? When somebody mentions your name, what happens, Marlena?
It goes bad.
So that means she got 1 million, all of her subs are looking up his Facebook and seeing all of his personal private pictures of his underage children, right? Is that
It
what's
makes
going
it
on, Ziggy? Do you understand these people have families? And yes, Chad is married to Marlena's sister. But that ain't the world's business. That's the police's business. Marlena came out here and said, yes, he was questioned. It doesn't seem like the police want to arrest him. We don't know what happened. Speaking of which, did you reach out to him, Marlena? Am I allowed to ask some questions?
I haven't had time to. There was a bunch of we was together with a bunch of family, and I wasn't going to bring it up. So no,
Yeah,
not yet.
it's been Christmas. I mean Easter. So I totally understand. But if you could do that for me soon, that would be great. And like I said, he doesn't have to give an interview. Even if he could just make a comment to you to bring out to the channel and just maybe something to prove it was his comment. You know what I mean? Because this is
Well,
ridiculous. And I feel like people throwing Chad Arnold on the street that day has caused a lot of confusion. And again, that is Marlena's family member. And not only that, but people have put out there like private information that her sister and Chad go through. And if Chad did do something, that doesn't make it her sister's responsibility. But you're putting out abuse that, like they've brought out their PFAs and why Francis kicked them out of the house. And how does that make you feel, Marlena? How does that make your sister feel every time she hears this shit?
let me just say that anybody that has got it's got my daughter's face up or anything that's talking about that she didn't give permission, just know that she has went and talked to the lawyer, and just know if anybody's channel gets shut down, it's probably because she hired somebody to do that because she does not like it. It's pissing her off because they're saying stuff about my kid that's not true. There's a lot of things that they're saying that they shouldn't be
And
saying
they're
because
putting
it ain't
out
relevant to Summer.
right, like their personal relationship. Chad and Francis's personal relationship has been put on the front burner in Summer's case on Ziggy's channel. And that has always disturbed me because if there is an element of abuse there, why is that anybody's business? Her sister hasn't been out here talking. Marlena just recently started coming out talking. Why would you want to re-victimize people? Like, y'all are pissing me the fuck off. This is why I have laryngitis. I want to scream.
And they run my name into the ground, man. There's about like for a week or so, you could just put my name into Google and it would pull up everybody's channel that had something to say about me.
It's just
It's hard
ridiculous.
on me to get a job. It's hard on me to get up. It's hard to get, for me to get a place to live. All of that stuff is very hard when they're sitting there doing the same things over and over and talking about the same subject. Come on now. I mean, if you're gonna talk about me, at least contact me somehow and ask me a question so it come out of my mouth, not everybody else.
Marlena, can I just ask you, how is Journey doing today without Summer? How is she? Is she okay?
She's okay, but she still misses her friend. She asks me every now and then if, Mama, you reckon they'll ever find her or they'll ever know what happened to her?
I mean, she was with Summer right before Summer disappeared. That has to tear her heart out. And to not understand it and then to live in fear. And then you have people, YouTube creators on here calling DHS. What did you say, 54 times?
54 times in less than a year.
You got to imagine how that makes that little girl feel every time they have to come out. 54 times in a year, they have to come to their house and talk to this little girl and traumatize her.
Even pull her out of class.
Huh?
They even went to the school and pulled her out of class.
Do you think that traumatizes that baby?
Yes, I do think it does, because that she's being questioned about stuff and pulled out of class for no reason. And that makes every kid stare at you and wonder what you did wrong, or or what that was about, or that those
And
things.
then I'm sure it has to give her fear because she knows it comes from YouTube, right? And her friend is missing. Like with little David, like I told you the other day, I spoke with little David Britt's son, and he is heartbroken. That little boy really wants Summer found. Let me go see if I can find, hold on, let me go to my channel here a minute and see if I can find my interview where David speaks. I mean, it's a lot. You know,
I mean,
and then
that's
for
not only
people to
with
keep putting
Summer.
these children through it is hurtful. And that's what they're doing. They are reminding Journey that there is a predator possibly out there.
I mean, it ain't only Journey lost, Summer. She lost the little boy that she went to school with because he killed his brother. That little boy that she went to school with, his older brother killed him and the grandmother. And then, she's lost all these family members in a row. Everything that she never ever knew that was stable is not stable anymore. And then here it comes again with all the YouTube people starting to talk about, her and this and that, and her family and her siblings and all that. And I'm sure she looks at it school kind of funny.
Hold on,
Now they're talking
I don't
about
know
me and her
which one of
daddy and her sister and all that. I mean, I'm sure, she's in a good mood yesterday, but which, that was because it was Easter, but I'm sure she worries a lot, and how you say it, she worries a whole lot about what a kid shouldn't worry about. She should have to worry about playing and growing and getting an education instead of worrying about, is somebody after her, somebody after her mama, or, somebody gonna hurt her family. That's more for her to worry about. And she is a worrier.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to do with you, because I don't know which one of these have little David on it. I think it's part 3. I'm just going to put it on, but either way, I'd like to go over some of these with you. So I'm going to put this 15-minute one on. This is, did you know Crystal Spencer? Do you know anything about Crystal and Dawn?
She's the one from Ohio. Her mama was Linda.
I love her mom. Let me tell you that. Okay. And I know she ran the store down there. I've had many conversations with them. And it might be interesting to have you even go over a few of these with me, only because you're from the area. But let me remind you, these were a long time ago. These were in 2021. I had all 3 of these interviews with Crystal, David, and Linda. Now,
now between this time, Linda's son has come up.
No, he's before that, and I'm supposed to cover that. And I promised Miss Pizzaforia, I don't know how to say her name.
Pizzaforado.
Pizzaforado, is that how you say it?
Yeah, Pizzaforado.
Okay, so I promised her that I would cover her son's death because he's another Earl that went missing under strange circumstances that Fred knew, that was found in a very similar way to Earl Taylor. Jason Arnold, and I find his death very Cotton, and I find his death probably even more disturbing than a lot of the others because he went missing and they couldn't find him. Do you want to tell the story?
No, you go ahead.
Well, it's on these videos. So here's what we'll do. Let's go over, because I haven't gone over these in a long time. Maybe I'll spend some time today going over. I have an hour and 15 minutes. Let's go over some of these David Britt things. And if you want to respond, just tell me to pause. Okay.
Okay.
I am going to skip the one with Autumn, though, because we did find out what happened to Autumn, and I was wrong. And I said that. And I still love David Britt, and I still love his little boy, and he's not mad at me. Like,
Who's
you know
Autumn?
what I mean? Autumn was David Britt's niece and Robert Britt's niece. I mean, Robert Britt's daughter. He didn't have a good relationship with her. She has a twin. And they lived in Florida. They lived with the grandparents. They weren't raised by the Brits, but Autumn went missing. She was walking to a movie theater with her boyfriend when she was 14 years old. I think it was 2005. She had gone missing. And because he had a daughter that was missing, I started covering David. It was an immediate thing for me, like, oh my God, 2 missing kids from families in Beach Creek. You know what I mean? But they ultimately ended up finding Autumn, and it was under circumstances that were horrible. They found her last year after 20 some years. And it's sad, and it really hurt my heart to have to bring that out. For a long time, I took them videos down and I didn't even cover anything because it affected me. Because when they find a child that you wanted them to find safely and they don't, it hurts bad as a YouTube creator. And my hope was that they really found that little girl, although she would be a woman now. You know what I mean? So, because David Britt and Robert Britt had a missing family member, I felt it was important to cover her. There was activity. I talked to the Florida TBI. I don't know what they call them, because you can't say FBI because it's not the FBI. It's Florida FBI, TBI. I don't know. And they were very,
we're not
very
alone, I got
friendly.
something to talk to you about too, though.
Say that again.
I said, and when we're not online, I got something else to talk to you about too.
All right, you can call me after the live. But I just, when I found out Autumn was missing, I just felt it was really important to get her face out there. So I'm just going to skip that one because they found her. But we'll start at the first one and we'll cover the other ones. Okay, hold on. Let's let her listen to some locals that have come out and talked. I think that's a really good idea. Yeah. Do you know anything about the rumors? Do you know anything about the rumors of Crystal and Dawn sleeping together?
Oh, yeah, it's true. Kansas come down here. See, Kansas told me to get the all property, and that's back when I was still trying to keep Crystal and John.
Isabella, in the 3 years that I've been on here, this is the first time that I've decided to go backstage and talk to people. And I really don't mean this to be rude, but that's my prerogative in my business. And like I said, YouTube doesn't have a right to know everything. Maybe if Marlena and I talk, it might come up to something that does lead to summer that I can bring out later. But I don't feel that everybody's business needs to be spoken about. And if Marlena wants to talk to me behind the scenes, if anybody wants to talk to me behind the scenes from now on, here's my response to you. It's my business, not yours. CNN, NBC, ABC, they all do their videos pre-recorded and then they edit them. They don't come out and tell you everything that's in their interviews. I hope you all know that. There's nothing wrong with talking behind the scenes. And that's the way I'm going to continue to run my channel from this day on. See, I'm making a lot of changes over here. I want you all to...
It's not even about summer, so there's that. It's not even about summer.
Right. And maybe I want to become friends with Marlena. What if we become friends and want to talk about our boyfriends or our families? Is that considered talking behind the scenes? So please, you've been a good sub to me. Don't make me boot your ass out of here. And I don't mean that in a rude way, but I am no longer going to be questioned on my channel about tactics that I use to get information for summer and the way I do things. That's just plain simple. I don't have to answer to anybody anymore. My lawsuit was dropped. I'm free and clear, and I'm going to cover things the way I want on my channel from this day forward. Please do not question me or come over here and attack me, because I have no problem hitting that fucking delete button quick as fuck. I want supporters and people that are here to find summer, not people that are going to critique everything I do. Truthfully, what I do behind the scenes is none of your business. If I go have sex with somebody, it's none of your business. If I go eat steak, it's none of your business. If I talk to my neighbor, it's none of your business. If I meet somebody from Michigan, it's none of your business. That's just plain and simple how it goes. And if you don't like it, don't sub up, don't watch. Then you don't get the information that I'm able to put out here. And that's going to be the end of that. I'm not a cop. I'm allowed to talk to whoever I want to about whatever I want to, and I'm allowed to bring out whatever content I think is relevant. If I hear something and I don't think it's relevant, I don't need to bring it out here. If I think it's too relevant, I don't need to bring it out here. I create my content. When you pay for my apps and you pay my bills, then I'll allow you to come in here and say you're talking behind the scenes. Now, let's start with the Brits.
Son's life, and they told him to get the hell off property or she'd call the law. I said, that's all right. You'll find out who's telling the truth. And more than 2 days later, she come up here in the afternoon crying her eyes out. You were right. You were right. You know, she slept with Donnie, but she slept with about everybody around here. So, you know, that ain't nothing new. You know, he come up here one day asking me where all the meth heads live. And I'm like, dude, really? I just kicked my damn, you know, got rid of this stupid ass woman that was in my life for 12 years because of that shit. I'm the only one that's been here for my son since.
Hold on, Marlena. I got people trying to distract her. That's what's going on. April's says, we need to be honest, Crystal. You said you're not putting up Marlena's Cash App because you don't want to be responsible when she OD'd from the money people help with her. Where did I say that, April? Where did I say that? Did I say that this live? And if I did say that, that's true because I didn't know what kind of addiction Marlena was in. But she got on my panel the other day and we spoke about that. So if you want to come over here and cause problems, here's how we're going to do this. Real quick. Bye, bitch. Come out here with a real name. Put a face on your freaking A up there and then talk shit. And now I'm not going to let anybody else distract. I'm just going to delete comments and not respond to the ones I don't like. Okay? Good day. Let's go.
I cut the umbilical cord on him, the only parent that he could actually count on. And he's sitting right here. He can tell you that himself. You know what I mean?
So Dawn came up to question
about nobody
you.
recording me because I ain't got nothing
to hide. Okay, that's good. That's good. But did Dawn come up to you after Summer had gone missing?
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was wondering why he was acting so stupid. I kind of half figured, you know what I mean, that something like that was going on. I ain't no idiot. You know what I mean? I ain't got but a ninth grade education, but I do know, you know, people because I was screwed up in the first part of my life, man. You know what I mean? I finally got my stuff right. I ain't never gonna let nothing, you know.
Can you tell
bring me down.
Are you able to tell me about the whole conversation you had with Dawn, like when he approached you?
I've had so much happen and so much stuff, and that hell, I've been through so much. I couldn't remember. I mean, it was kind of short, and he was just acting real strange. Somebody, you know, some of it, the conversation I had with him, he brought his son up that morning. It weren't nothing real major. But he come up, the first words out of his mouth was, where's all the men? I don't know. I don't hang around him yet. He's here at home taking care of my son. You know what I mean? I'm not the one out running around. The parents out running around, not being here doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I damn sure wouldn't let nobody do, you know, bring no damn dope to my house neither, because I'd break their ass up. They wouldn't be seen again. But Linda, that woman there, every word comes out of her damn mouth's a liar. You know, when I read that part about me shooting up my dad's pain pills, I didn't. You can get a hold of hospice, and they'll tell you that they were surprised at how much of my dad's pain medicine was left, because they said they normally don't get that. I took care of my dad, and I don't shoot dope. I don't even like a doctor to stick a needle in me.
Guess whose dad was so sick that David was stealing his morphine. He had his leg amputated and was dying, and David was taking his morphine.
Let me just tell you, Marlena, I love Miss Linda. I think she's a gossiper. But I could sit and I could talk to her for hours and hours and hours. She's funny as hell. And she has no filter. Am I right?
You're right.
All right. So a lot of this back then to me, I've changed how I operate on YouTube. I was very brand new. This was my first interview. And a lot of this probably at the time I didn't know. I probably should not have put out on YouTube. You know what I mean? But I did. I can't take that back, and we're going to listen to it. Not that any of it has any kind of meaning. It's really just a lot of gossip and shit talking. But there are some things in these interviews that pertain to Summer, like Dawn going to David's house, David's little boy speaking. And I just feel, well, there's also some things in here about some people you know and are related to, maybe Marlena. I don't know for sure, but that's why I'm just going to give you an opportunity to answer anything that's been said by any locals on my channel. Okay. Although none of it's really speaking about you at all, but it might be something that helps somewhere, you know?
Well, Miss Linda, we told her not to get on this horse one time at a wagon train we was at, and she still got up on it, and that's why she is in a wheelchair. For not
She told
listening.
me she was hit by a car. You'll hear. And that might go into some shit you might want to respond to. That's all. Okay.
And his pain meds.
And now was David and Robert, were they abusive to their father? Or
I think David was abusive to his dad.
yeah.
Robert.
You have to remember this was in 2021. And at that time I knew Autumn. I had just found out Autumn was missing, and that's why I reached out to them. So I thought they could have been big suspects in Summer's case at that time. My mind has changed after speaking to them. I just want you all to know that.
Is this after Summer went missing?
This is, oh yeah, after Summer went missing, but in 2021, not long after. I'd say like November. They were 3 different interviews. I have Crystal, I have Linda, and I have David. I mixed them up and edited them into this. I have the original calls, but this is just what I chose to put out. You know what I mean? So, but it's a lot of information, and it's like 3 people worth of me talking to after Summer went missing. And to be honest with you, I like these people. Like, I still continue to talk to them when I get a chance, you know? Uh-oh, she's talking behind the scenes. How do you like that, Isabella? Jesus fuck. Okay.
Didn't see his dad that much. I mean, David, well, the man, like I was telling you, he stunk so bad when he came into my house that we ate dinner. I couldn't stand it because I'm a nurse. And, you know, they say cleanliness is next to godliness. And this man, I wanted to put him in my shower and scrub him myself and do his dressing. But I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
You know, on that leg.
It wasn't
so
your
I'm
place.
like, I'm
right.
not going to touch it because they could take my license away if I screwed something up.
Right.
You know, and Crystal says, Mom, can you do anything? I said, I can, Crystal, but I'm not going to. I said, Mama's nursing license means more to her than screwing it up. I said, if I knew what the doctor's orders for to take care of that leg, yeah, I'd be happy to do it. I said, but I ain't got no doctor's orders to tell me how to take care of it. I ain't touching it. You need to call the visiting nurse and tell her about it. You and David both. David is his guardian. So you know what? David needs to get down on the phone and call him.
Like when I seen that about my prison record, I said, you know, there ain't nothing in that. All that shit's bought and paid for. Right. You know what I mean? Yes. And I learned a hard lesson. If I'd listened to my dad, I'd have been a hell of a lot better off. And I finally ended up listening to him because, like he told me, David, you got that shit started. You're the only one that can really stop it. You know what I mean? And it took me 2 minutes to lose my dad's respect and about 20 some odd years to get.
That's not true, Glenview. And we talk. David and I talk about his criminal past in these interviews. David hasn't been in trouble in 20, 30 years. Since the 80s or 90s, he moved to Tennessee and calmed down. He has that baby that he takes care of, and Crystal's a mess. Is that about right?
I think she's in jail right now. I think she's still in jail right now.
Oh, she's in jail again. It was just her birthday.
But yeah,
talked
you're
to
right. He moved to Tennessee and he calmed down, and then him and Crystal had that baby, and he's been on the straight and narrow for like 20, 30 years now.
and I truly believe that. He does have a temper. Dude
Yeah, he
definitely has a
does.
temper and says some things he shouldn't say in front of his kid. But
My dad
it's
also knew him too.
he does have a very, very, very long criminal past. And we speak about that deeply in these interviews. Just listen, guys.
He knew my dad too very well.
Yeah.
Get it back whenever I bought me and my dad a place over here right across the street from where I'm staying now. And me and my dad would go out every week, and I can't change what the past, but I can let him know that, I'm doing a hell of a lot better than what I finally listened, you know what I mean?
Yes, and
And
I heard you.
whenever I come in from work, he was stuck in the garden on that little electric scooter I got him. Whenever he hugged my neck and told me he was right proud of me, man, that was that was the moment I've been trying to get back to,
Yeah, and Miss Linda said before your dad passed away that you had taken care of him.
For over a year, I didn't leave my house. And even the ladies at hospice, when they started coming out, they said, they hadn't seen this kind of love. I'm like, my dad should have shot my ass back in the day, and I couldn't have said a damn thing about it other than he was right. But he never turned his back on me, And,
Yeah.
but I never lied to him, I never lied to him, I ain't got nothing to lie. I was screwing up. I know, but, it's sad though that my brother Kenny in Florida, I borrowed $6,000 from him and paid him $9,000 back on the property over there. And he didn't sign my title over to me to the land like he was supposed to, him and Carrie. But while I was taking care of our dying father, he was trying to have us evicted off land that I honestly bought and paid for.
So,
But she called the police. They were trying to get me to come up and get him recorded and stuff, and I didn't really know what was going on. And, I was kind of freaked out, and I was, kind of worried about my son. And I had her trying to take me back to court. She's called DCS more times and telling them more lies. But she called him up while Summer was missing and told him that I tried buying the little girl and the meth deal gone bad. Now, that's fucked up. Whenever that little girl's missing, you're going to call up and tell a damn straight out lie. You know what I mean? And take investigators off of looking at that little girl to look at me where there ain't a damn thing at and waste precious time.
And have you been in contact? Have you been in contact with the DHS down there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Like I told you, I call them up. I said, I do that 800 number.
Mm-hmm.
I need somebody to go out and check my grandbabies. I said, they're both with a drug. One's a drug. He does drugs, and the other one abuses it, my grandson. And I just would like to know, because they won't let me see him, can you go and check and make sure they're okay? You know what they do? They call him up. Eric, I got another report on you. I got to come out and check little Eric. They're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to show up at school, at wherever the child is at, home or school. Okay, they're supposed to take the child without the father and take him and talk to him by himself and ask him how he's been.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. They called David up, and you know how I know they called him? Because they brag about it, the friends I know down there. Oh, we got another child complaint. The caseworker just called me. She got to come out and check John. You know what? I'm going to tell you something, and I've picked a lot of psych classes. Let me tell you something, and then you tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
David told me, when I handed John his army man, he says, oh, Nana, I'm an army man. I said, yeah, he told me you wanted this all. And I gave him these army men. David says, he's got 1,000 of those things. He's got them all setting up with their guns pointing towards his bed. I'm like, my God, that's not. Just that statement, that tells me that baby is scared.
Yeah.
He's got guns aiming towards his bed so in case somebody hurts him.
She's mistreated the 4 kids that she adopted in Ohio. As long as I've been out here on Beach Creek, I have never, ever heard anyone say anything good about that woman or the way she treated them kids.
Okay, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
Right.
That's how I raised my kids. They had to recite that for me, and then they had to tell me what it meant. And every time they messed up, it was either time out in the corner, in their room, or they wrote from a Bible.
Yes.
If they stole, if they lied, if they did anything, they had to write for me 100 times. And I didn't want I 100 times, will 100 times. I wanted written one sentence at a time. I told him, I said, if it's not done appropriately, you'll do it
Crystal.
again. You know?
Crystal. She's telling the truth there. I was around them while they run the store, and if they did something, if they lied or whatever, she would punish them. She was mean to them.
Yeah, she said that. She said she was strict. She did hold therapy with Earl because he was autistic. She had a lot of problems with him, and they were adopted, and the kids came with a lot of problems. Is that about right?
That is right. They would come up with a lot of problems, but there's some ways that she shouldn't have. She was, how do I say this? She was really, 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 really hard on them, and I think they were even scared of her.
Yeah. I believe that. I do. Anna.
I think Crystal even married David so that she wouldn't have to be under her household anymore.
Yeah. Well, and she said, she gives an interesting story about her and David and about another family that Crystal's. I have concerns. I do have concerns about Crystal's first boyfriend, the first baby daddy. I have big concerns. Okay, let me respond to this. That's generous that you want to get her a computer. Did I say that? Did anybody in here say? Hold on. It should be Crystal for her hard. Oh, thank you. Okay. I thought you were saying something. No, it's fine if they want to send Marlena something, but I just want you to do it through email. I don't want to have to keep pausing and addressing that. I just don't want to do it here because of a lot of shit I've been through on here. You know what I mean? And I've never been one to put people's cash apps up, and I explained that. So can we just move on from that, guys? I appreciate you all being here. Just if you guys want to send Marlene anything, talk to her privately. She gave you an email address. I put it up. I started it, I think. Just scroll up and find it, and you guys can email her. Yeah, Jasper to me seems to be a big troll. Using my dog's name. Funny shit.
Because that was their punishment, you know. I had to go through hold therapy. You know what that is, where you hold a child and they have to tell you, look you straight in the eyes, and the therapist asks questions, and they have to tell you the answers to those questions. And you have to talk to them about it. So I did that for 8 weeks with Ernest. And Earl, we moved to Tennessee right when I adopted Earl, and they didn't believe in hold therapy down there. Tennessee don't believe in shit when it comes to kids. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you know what?
So is Crystal adopted?
Crystal's adopted.
How old was she when you adopted her?
Just 5. Eric and David had the upper hand because they threatened her with putting them in children's services, put them in foster care. And when Crystal was first foster care, she went from one group home or one home to the other because of their behaviors. Nobody wanted them.
Yeah.
You know, so they went from one foster home to the other. They were mistreated, and you know, as a matter of fact, when she came into my house, she looked at me and she said,
"Hi, little Dev.
Am I going to live here?" And I said, "Yeah, for how long?"
Oh.
I said, "For how long?" I said, "For as long as you want." Crystal's adopted. April's adopted. Ernest and Earl. I adopted all my children.
And she makes herself out to be this holy roller. She's nothing. The reason she's in that damn paralyzed in that chair, she ate pain pills and wrecked a car. She, you know, I talked to Ernest, I think was with her. And he was so scared when he went up, wanted me to show me his cow with everyone over there. And Chris was trying to be nice to her. And I asked him what the real deal was. He said there weren't no other car coming. He said she was just messed up on them pills she took at Rick, and she just wrecked.
The guy that hit me, I can't think of his name, but I know his face. And I know who he lives with. He lives with Vicky.
This is where it's going to get where you might get interested, Marlena. Okay.
Okay.
Just remember, this was just an interview. I didn't make no assumptions and I didn't follow up on any of it. Okay.
Like, that's her boyfriend. Okay? He hit me. And he come up to me when I was down there last year. He come up to me and I looked at him and he says, "You remember me?" I said, "Oh yeah, I remember you." That's all I said because there's a bunch of people around. And all I was thinking was, I remember you every time I want to get out of bed. Every day I want to take a shower and I can't do it. Every time I want a glass of water and I can't get to it. Yeah, I think of you. I think you every time I go to roll over at every floor I have on my bottom. I think of you.
I'm so
I forgive
sorry.
you for my accident and put me in a wheelchair, but you and me got to talk about what you did to me because you're still getting drunk. He got drunk down there, trashed the motorcycle that I was going to buy off of him. It was a Virago, and I have a Virago. I was going to bring it back to life. And he trashed his motorcycle. You want to know how I know? Because I made it home, and his girlfriend called me. "Can you tell me why your phone number's in my boyfriend's pocket?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I was going to buy a Virago." And she said, "It ain't nothing but garbage now. He's in the hospital. You wrecked it." And that was 2 days after I got home. She calls me. He was in the hospital. He got trashed when I was down there. You know, and I told, like, I don't.
Who did she say wrecked her? I can't hear you. You're muted. I can't hear you, Crystal.
Honey, I had to come back to the screen. She didn't say raped her. She said hit her.
Who
And
did she say did that?
I believe, well, we're going to listen. She gives a name, but I believe she said Chad. So, or one of his best friends. It's been a long time since I listened to these. But she was very upset. But here's the thing, she doesn't wish harm on this person. She forgives this person, she says, for hitting her. That's why she moved. She didn't want problems. She states it caused problems and that Glenda Head was stealing from her gas station and stole all kinds of money, giving away free gas. Like, these are some of the accusations she made that you might not be very happy with.
Well,
So
I know that if that horse that was a stud horse, we was all in a wagon train. She was pretty lit, and the horse was male, and there was a horse in heat, and the horse was acting up, and we told her that not to ride it because the female horses was in heat, and when it did, it started acting stupid, and it walked out in front of a car.
oh, she said she was hit by a car.
No, she was threw off of a horse because the horse was acting stupid and walking sideways, and it was like 16 to 17 hands high. And yeah, when it acted stupid and walked out in front of the car hit the horse.
She was in the car though?
No, she was on the horse. The horse,
Okay.
she was riding the horse. You know, we was all in a wagon train. She was riding the horse. The horse was acting up because there was females in heat because it was a stud horse. And when it did, it kind of walked sideways, and that whoever, I don't remember what kind of car it was, but the car came around the side and it hit the horse and knocked her off, and she hit the ground, and it messed up her back and stuff and paralyzed her.
Okay.
She left out that part though, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. She didn't mention a horse.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's finish. Well, not finish. I got a lot of these. And this still isn't even all my interview with her. With them.
You know, and I told, like, I don't know if you know Francis Dykes. What Francis and Chad is her husband. Okay, so Chad and the guy that hit me are best friends. So I tell Francis, I know who hit me. So you know that she knows who hit me, who put me in my wheelchair. I said, and I told her, I said, yesterday I texted her because I passed my driver. I was excited. I wanted everybody to know I passed my driver. I'm going to get in the damn car,
Right.
So she told me, she said, I'm so happy for you.
And let me tell you, Marlena, she considers your sister one of her best friends. She loves talking to your sister. Huh?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to say that she wasn't talking shit on your sister, but she was talking shit on Chad's best friend, whoever that is. Okay.
And she says, I knew it. And then I told her, I says, I forgave the man that hit me. I forgive him for putting me in my wheelchair, but me and him are going to talk about every time how hard it is for me to do something. Every time I have to get out of bed, everything I have to do, what he's done to me.
Yeah.
I said, and I'm going to tell him, I'm going to say, just because I value my life and you don't do yours because you're drinking and drugging and not giving a shit about your life, you took my life away from me. You took my nursing, that was my heart.
No, it's Ernest. I'm trying to think back. I think it was Earl, actually. Which one is her son that passed away?
Earl.
But it was Ernest that was riding with her that morning. Earl didn't like her. She beat on Earl so bad. It's a miracle that he didn't kill her.
I don't have a ball joint, nothing there. My leg's free floating in there somewhere. But I was in the hospital having that done. I'm worried about my son because he always calls me on my birthday and Christmas. I don't care if he's mad or not. He say, Mom, happy birthday, or Mom, Merry Christmas.
This with your son, this was just last year?
Yeah, they found him last year. July, it was the first Friday in July. They called me. I was at dialysis. I was on dialysis. And they called me. I was losing it. I was hooked up, had these tubes coming out of my chest and blood going in and out, and I'm like, I'm losing it. What do you mean my son's dead?
Oh my goodness.
And he says, man, we're not sure. We're investigating. And I said, well, and I told him about my son. I called him and I told him, I said, that's my son. Yeah, he was my baby boy. I got him when he was three going on 4. My doctor had to put me on Xanax when Earl died. I couldn't handle it. I was losing it. I don't know if you've ever heard this song. It's my son, and it tells, he's not my blood. He doesn't have my last name, but he's my son. I played that at Earl's celebration of life, and I had a CD made up of all these different songs. There were 6 of them, so I put together Earl's. When he passed away, I put together I had this butterfly paper, and I wrote this verse that I found. I have to read it to you. I have to find it. I forgot it, but I wrote it down to all his half brothers and sisters, and I made sure that they all got a copy of it. And then I made a CD. I copied the CD that I had with it, and I sent it to all of them. Yeah, Earl was my baby.
I'm so sorry for your loss. Do they know what happened to him?
And they just told me he was killed.
And they never followed up on it?
I found out. I did an investigation because Earl is with this woman. Her name was Lynn, and she was helping me get information. She found out where he was living at, who he was living with. I have all this information. I have it copied on my phone so I could show the detective. I'm going to go print it off, and show the detectives because they want me to meet with them. They will not release his coroner's report.
And did this happen in Rogersville, or was it in another area?
Savoyville.
The way she beat him, because he had some severe, mental issues, and it's just crazy.
And I heard her tell Crystal that the only thing that they ever were to her was a damn check.
So what do they do for money? Does Robert work?
Robert? Oh, I think he's probably getting Social Security too. And I know David is. It took David 7 years to get it.
So neither of them work, and they just...
David works on the side. And when I was down there, Crystal would come down every couple of days, because I lived on Webster Valley and she was on Beach Creek, And that's when they moved into this mobile home. Because I kicked them out of my house.
Yeah.
You're pigs. All you have to do is cut the grass and keep it clean. My house was so infested with fleas, it cost me $1,000 to get rid of the fleas in it. My brother-in-law walked into my house. My new carpeting that I just laid before, because I was getting ready to sell it. That one had so much stains on it. And Malcolm walked in and on the carpet, and he had tube socks on. And he says his tube socks were covered black with fleas. Yeah. And the baby, Darla went back and looked at the baby, and the baby was chewing on the headrail or the rails of the crib. And he was laying on a cut-up bed. And my sister was living. She says, you put that baby in that truck, and I'll take him on. Me and your mom will raise him. And David says, no, you ain't. You ain't getting my paycheck.
This is probably you, but be talking about me ain't nothing but damn lies. You know what I mean? That's sad. You know what I mean?
Right. I think, a lot of people, the main thing is a lot of people are just really concerned about Summer.
Oh, yeah, I am too. I mean, if I knew, whenever they come back on me and from a couple days trying to get me to go up there and record Donnie, to them coming back and accusing me of, trying to buy her on a meth deal going bad, I held both of them on. I said, here, take me to the son of a bitch that told you that. You put us in the same cell, and I guarantee him.
I said that. And I apologized to David for that, and he accepted my apology. I really like David Britt. I want you guys to know that I think he's a good guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. However, Karen Renfro, let me tell you this, Marlena. She told me that, did you know Jennifer Setterfield?
No.
Okay, there's a woman that lived on Lighthauler Road. Satterfield was her name. She went by Raven on Facebook, and she was also unalived in your area.
Wait a minute. Did she have a black raven on her profile picture?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, she tried to contact me a couple of times. And what'd you say her name was?
Jennifer Satterfield.
No.
She did like some witchcraft stuff, but it was like good. She was a real hippie like type girl. But when I first went after David Britt, because I brought him up because of Autumn being missing, she came into my comment section and attacked the fuck out of me. Like, left me the nastiest comment about that's her best friend, leave him the fuck alone. And I didn't even have like a real attack on him. You know what I mean? So that's what prompted me to reach out to David. David was the first one I interviewed. Right after I interviewed him, no, not right after, about a year after, Sage Sleuth started writing me, and I had put something out and I accidentally put I never spoke about Jennifer. And I put her picture out in a message by accident on something I was showing Sage. Sage was demanding, who's the Raven I know? Who's the Raven I know? So I showed her. After like a million attacks in my messenger. Okay. Now,
you said Satterfield? Say it again.
Satterfield.
What? How you spell it?
Satterfield.
SATT.
FIELD.
It looks familiar, but I don't know.
Okay, so Karen Renfro had come to my chat Come to my messenger and told me that she was unalived and that David Britt was the last person with her. Well, then when I wanted to go cover it, she changed her whole ass story on me and said David wasn't with her. So I don't believe David was with Jennifer, and I feel it was an attempt to frame David. I don't know why, but I do. Because why are you going to change your story a year later? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It bothers me that she would even make a claim like that David was with this girl, they were feeding horses, and David bopped her over the head. Well, then you need to go to the police because nobody's been arrested in her case either. Don't come to my messenger and say it. Go to the police. And I don't think that's even what happened. However, another dead woman in the area of Beach Creek that's never been really spoken about.
You know what day that Earl died? Now that's not my cousin. You know that, right?
Earl Pizzifiato or whatever. Yeah, I know. Earl
Do
Taylor's
you
your
know?
cousin.
Yeah. Do you know what day that Earl died in July?
Mm-hmm. Oh, the day Earl Pizzifiato? No, I don't. I don't have it here. I might have it in one of these videos. I can get it for my next live.
Okay.
Okay. I don't even think that they know what day he died because he was missing for a long time, right? Like 2 years. And then
Yeah.
they called her, like, we found your kid. She didn't even know they found him.
Tell you, I'll get the truth for you. But when you hear the truth, I'm going to snap the fucker's neck, and I'm going to tell you like Perry Mason, case closed, and that's that. And I want the hell go home. You know?
Yeah.
I said, I don't play that bullshit, man. You know?
That's
hell,
what-
I've been accused of damn, being a pedophile, a kidnapper, and every damn thing else, and it ain't nothing but a damn bunch of lies, you know?
Well, and I'm, that's good that I'm able to get your side out there and you can dispute what has been said, because she's in jail now, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you know
what? Her new boyfriend, Ray, he seemed like he was a nice guy. And he was, he called me up the other night. And I don't even know why he called me. I'm done. Once I tell you, it's over. I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gave that woman more chances than I should have gave anybody just to try to keep her in this young man's life. And because like I told him, I said, we'll try something, but I'm gonna tell you this. I said, I asked him, and he was only 4 then. I said, do you want me to tell you the truth or do you want me to tell you a lie? He said, Dad, just be honest with me. And I said, we're going to put 110% in it, but I wouldn't hold your breath on it because from experience, people that's like that, because I've been there, I know, I've seen it, I've seen too damn much of that shit, and it's just crazy. I said, we'll put 110% in it, but don't get your hopes up. I said, we'll do our part, but, I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't believe she's going to do her part. And of course, within a week, she was back out doing the same stuff, running around with Donald Bernard and whoever in the hell. I think that's the one that got her started on that crap. Because while I was out trying to make.
As they're mentioning names, I'm going to ask you stuff. Marlena, this was the first time I heard of the other Bernards. Not Andy Bernard, but the other Bernards, okay? After Laura had gotten out of jail and Fred had gotten out of jail, Ziggy was spreading rumors, and Jody, that Laura was living with Donald Bernard. Do you have any truth to that? Do you know anything about that?
Well, too long ago before that I seen her right out there.
Okay, could you explain, are you not scared to explain what kind of person Donald Bernard is? Because I have some questions about them Bernards and the TJ Crawford. I really do.
Donald Bernard is not a bad person. His dad run the subject tank people, or like he pumps subject tanks for a living. They were never bad to me. They've always talked to me, and they've talked to my dad and everything. So they're not. I don't know if they're kin to Andy or not.
So I don't think they're probably kin to Andy, but Andy and them say, can you hold on 1 minute? There's something. I think my animals are fighting. Nope, they calmed down. Okay. Sorry. Andy claims that it's a separate Bernard family, that he's not related to them. But I hear a lot of bad things about those names. Now, I've been told that Donald is one around the area that feeds the girls, the females that are addicts there, with the street poison. And that concerns me, considering Laura went to live with him after she left Glenda's. So I think it's, these are names that I feel should come out and talk. He was very upset that Miss Linda brought his name out to me when I did these interviews way back in the day. And I just want to know why, because I didn't feel there was anything of substance there, except for him and Crystal had a relationship. And now him and Laura have a relationship, and I see these addicted women with him, and it bothers me, like, I don't know what to make of it. But she also says some interesting things about a TJ, which you may be related to. So I don't know. Let's just listen on. I don't even know that I have all that in here because I think I tried to keep some of it out,
Some extra money for, while I was going through Hep C treatments and everything else, come up here raising hell because I won't know Linda's address and stuff. I didn't know it, because all the crap that she put out there mentioned his name, and he didn't even have nothing to do with Crystal or nothing,
Yeah.
So he was going to try to get an attorney to jump on her ass if he couldn't sue her, trying to and fighting for my disability. Just had a kid, just lost my house, just lost my dad, I let my business go. You know what I mean?
I'm not trying to accuse anybody, but man, you guys have a lot of crime down there. It's so beautiful there. The countryside, the land. And when you look up the crime and the drugs, it's just sad,
I know. See, I didn't even know the area whenever I bought this house. I just seen something that I knew I could afford and fix up for me and my dad. You know what I mean? And the ladies that used to live here in the house I'm living in, I'm living right across the street from where my old house used to be. She brought me up vegetables out of her garden and a home baked cake and welcomed me to the neighborhood. I've never had that feeling before. You know what I mean? I thought I finally landed where I was supposed to be. I didn't know about none of this other crap, I mean, I heard there was moonshiners and stuff like that around. They were kind of clannish, and I'm like, dude, I ain't been to the penitentiary 4 or 5 times because I really.
Here's my thing. Tennessee is Tennessee. You're going to have moonshiners there. And I pray to God, Marlena, I get to come visit y'all one day when all summer shit's calmed down and that y'all could give me a real fucking glass of moonshine. I want to try it. Just putting it out. Okay.
Really gave much. All I wanted out of my life was a quiet country existence, good running truck, good working fishing pole, have a few good friends, be nice to everybody you can, and just go enjoy these beautiful hills. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
that's
you
the
do.
Thing I wanted.
You do have some good friends because I got attacked. You definitely do. I definitely got some hate-filled comments from your friends. This is before Satterfield was murdered. And I,
what year was that?
First off, like I said, I really want to apologize to you because I know that looks bad, but I'm going to tell you how I felt. God.
What year was she murdered?
2023, I believe.
2023?
I believe so, yeah.
Do you know what month?
I don't remember. I can look it up and we can cover that my next live if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay. Felt about it. When you see there's a little girl missing and you have ties to them, and then you have a niece with a brother that has a missing child, it just looks bad.
I was going through so much at that time, between Crystal, Linda's bull crap, and still, just still fuming over, look, my brother doing me like that, trying to, they screwed our dad, our dad out of his last vacation I had planned for him because I took my income tax money and he wanted to go to Black Mountain where we used to camp as kids and stuff. And I had us a cabin all set up and I had to go get my money I put down on the cabin to go hire an attorney to fight for land that I honestly bought and paid for. So I didn't even get to take my dying dad on his last vacation, and that. If it weren't for my dad making me promise him I wouldn't drive to Florida and shoot my own brother and my sister-in-law, they wouldn't be living right now. And I wouldn't be here right now because I'd probably be in prison.
His brother wanted to give to him, but his wife.
That's what I mean about dude's temper. He definitely got a temper in a mouth. Wouldn't you agree, Marlena?
Yeah. No.
They said, oh, hell no, he'll pay me for it.
Yeah.
Because I guess they got into a big fight, Robert and a brother, that has the house. And she said, I ain't giving him nothing.
I mean, we get angry at our
families. That's how I was feeling at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I sold every gun that I had. I had I like to hunt a little bit and I like shooting guns. I ain't much of a hunter. My brother Robert's the biggest hunter. I'm more of a fisherman. But I'd go out in the woods just with them and, get out and enjoy it. But I was so messed up in the head, man. I had to sell every gun that I owned to stop from going to Florida. Because when I stayed up 3 days with my dad, and I just laid down, and Crystal was helping me out. That was the Crystal I knew. And no sooner than I laid down, he had another seizure, and I don't know, man. Just something inside of me snapped. Under all that pressure, and you're feeling so damn sad because you can't do nothing for your dad or nothing. You're just watching him die, and you got your brother you've always helped out and done stuff for. And I bought the land. I gave him $3,000 extra and paid him off a year and a half earlier. And they're going to screw your dad out of his last vacation and try to take my land and everything else. You know what I mean?
Okay, that part's done. Let me go to the next. Let's see. I think it's the next one I don't want to go over because it was his niece and it's just irrelevant now.
Right.
Hold on. It had
I
nothing to do
understand.
with, yeah. Nothing to do with Summer. It was just about his niece Autumn. And you guys can look that case up. Send prayers for their family, guys, because they need it and it's still pretty fresh. They just found her last year. I'm sure they're hurting.
Autumn, is that ain't the Jennifer, is it? No, it's Autumn somebody else.
This is David Britt's brother, the one that lives across the street. It's his daughter that lived in Florida. Here, I'll just play it so that you guys understand, but it has no relevance right now. Okay? It's only a minute-long video.
It might be, and you don't know it.
I don't know nothing about it.
Yeah, it might be, but they got her people. They found her buried under their house. That's what's sad about it. Maybe we can cover the outcome of it. I think it's important that I do that. I've been unable to do that because it broke my heart. Like, I've been having a hard time with this part of the case, of Summer's case.
But how do you not know the people that did this to her didn't come here to take any more girls from this area?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We could go into that one day. But okay, hold on.
I don't know nothing about that. I was living in Carolina. I didn't know she was missing for over a year until I seen her on Missing. Her brother was a real bad crackhead, and she started smoking, shooting coke back in the day. And I remember Adam, I talked to her brother every now and again, but they would come over as little kids, and David, we're hungry. Mom spent all of our food money on coke or dope, and I'd feed them. I mean, I don't know why somebody didn't do something beforehand, about that situation, but it was a lot different back, I was friends with Summer. I mean, Summer, John was good friends with all of her brothers. And she used to follow John around whenever we'd go up. I'd let him go up, spend some time with them to play and stuff. And, she'd always took him because she would always say, John's my boyfriend. I mean, just to see him turn blush red,
Aww.
I mean, she's a sweet little girl.
That's not the detailed version, and I'm sorry, guys. That's gonna make me cry. Like the autumn part of this really does upset me. That's
But
what's
did she
hard.
go up on that? Did she go up on that hill?
No, honey, she went missing in 2004 or 5 from Florida.
Oh,
It was in Ormond Beach. She was walking to a movie theater to meet her boyfriend, I think, is what the story was. She didn't make it there. She ended up living and staying with she had an awful life, this little girl. And it really does affect me when I hear that part, which is why I didn't want to cover it because I'm sitting here ready to cry.
okay. Well, move on.
So,
That's cool.
but it's okay. That was a minute-long video. I have a feeling there's more on that. We'll get there. Okay, hold on. Let me go back. That was video 3. There is more on that because I spoke to Linda about it. That wasn't the video I thought it was. I'm glad I shared that because you hear him talking about Johnny and Summer. Okay, here we go. Video 4.
Did David or Robert buy property from you?
David did, or Robert did.
Oh, he
He
did.
bought that mobile home next to Beach Creek. Like I told you, it's less than half an acre of land, less than. And his attorney, he says, you know, you got over like a fat dog, didn't you? Yeah, I did. I said, I told him I didn't want to sell it. If he wants to buy it bad enough, he gonna pay for it, right? And I want cash. I want cash. I don't want no bank drafts or anything. I want CASH cash.
What do you think about that ranch that's behind your property? The new ranch that just got put in? Good question for you, Marlena. I ask everybody from Beach Creek this. So down around David Britt's house, pretty much right behind them, they have no sign. There's nothing put up that they are a hotel or anything like that. But there is a new ranch that got put in next to Moorlock Mountain that only allows adults to come there. It's called the Elite Frontier or something, Adventure Elite Frontier or something. And those people are also from Utah. The Cramshaws, I think is their name. My allergies are so bad. Have you heard anything about that ranch?
Are you talking about where they have dug out the side of the hill and built back in there? Is that what you're talking about?
If you
Like in
go
between Fifth and Holler?
No. It is right next to Mount Carmel Church.
Right up from it on the
road,
left?
On the opposite side, not on the side of Fields. Across the street where they stationed for summer, it's right above that. Like right if you go behind it.
I know what you're talking about, but I thought they were from Florida.
Nope, they're from Utah. 100%. I've had a conversation with them. Here, I know what video I'm on, so let me go back.
What did you call them? The Crenshaws?
Cramshaw or Crenshaw or here, I'm gonna I'll play it up because I had a phone conversation with them as well. Let me find this. Elite Frontier Adventure.
I don't know. I've never talked to those.
You preach, kid.
And let me tell you, this is all stock video and pictures. It's not from there because they have on their website that right in the front, you're not allowed to share anything from their website. So this is not all the pictures and shit you're seeing is not their pictures. They're just stock photos and videos. Let me make that very clear. Okay.
Gary Crandall with Elite Frontier Adventures. I'm not able to get to my phone right now, but if you'll leave a message, I'll call you back as soon as I can. Thanks. Hello?
Hey, I was calling because I'm actually covering a story, the Summer Wells story, and I noticed that you're like on Beach Creek. So I was wondering, we're just trying to see how far the searchers searched. Can you tell me, did they search the 100 and some acres that you have?
They didn't.
They
No.
did not.
No.
How crazy is that?
Not that I know of. They never. I mean, I went down and talked to them a couple of times and says, "Hey, I've got horses and I can help search and stuff." And they says, "Well, we'll let you know if we need you." But I know they went down below our place. They talked to some neighbors down from
I
us.
wonder what they feel about that, because like I said, that ranch moved behind. They bought all the woods that. This is where it's at, Marlena. So here's Beach Creek. Here's Fields Road. If you take Morrison Cemetery Road, it leads right up into here. Or if you take this road next to that, here's your thing. And they own all of this land back here next to the Morlock Mountain. So I just wanted you to get an idea of where it was. There's the fire department. And then here's the road that leads back to it.
Is that okay? So is that where it hooks into Morrison Cemetery?
Yeah, here's Mount Carmel. If you pass Fields Road, it's the next road that goes up. And nobody in the area knows about this place, which Crandall is their last name. Which is what's
Crandall?
driving me crazy, because I don't understand if you're running.
Is there a house in that curve? Is that on
It's a
Simpson Loop?
Is that Simpson Loop? I don't know. I don't
Simpson
know.
Loop's above the church.
I don't know. Are you looking at the map? If you look at my screen, you should be able to see it. Let me see if I could zoom in. So
Okay, where'd
here's
you say the church was? Right there?
Okay, here
It's down
is
past the church.
yeah,
Go
here's Mount Carmel. Here's Mount Carmel. Then you pass Morrison Cemetery Road that connects the fields across the street. And then you come down this way, and it's this road right here. And it goes up into this, and they own all of this right here. And I believe it used to be a part of Morlock Mountain, or whatever that is right there that's next to it. But it's here.
I've never heard of it. And I've lived down there all my life.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Beach Creek's best kept secret. And it's strange as fuck, in my opinion, because it's a resort where they ride horses, they shoot arrows, they do all this fun stuff, but children ain't allowed there. It's on their website. However, there's children there if you can get permission. And it's single little cat. Like, I have an issue with this. Just because Beach Creek don't know about it, and there's no sign on Beach Creek Road to even welcome people to go to a resort. This is an issue for me. Nobody in Beach Creek even knows about this. The Brits didn't know about it. Now Marlena's saying she doesn't know about it. I feel this place needs to be searched. That's my opinion. And I have a right to that opinion. I'm not putting these people down, but they're from Utah, Ogden, Utah, the same place that Dawn's from. And I find that significant. However, let's continue with the phone call. We're behind your properties.
Well,
Like
my property went back to next road, the back road.
Yes, and that right there. So, what property was yours? Do you remember the address?
Mine was 3163 Beach Creek Road.
Yeah. So it's 3571 Beach Creek Road. This is the name of it, guys.
Was next to it. I think it's
3191.
No, that's where David's living at now.
about that ranch that's behind your property? The new ranch that just got put in.
Where at?
I guess it's more like behind Linda's property. There's a ranch with horses, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's like a resort, but they only want adults there. I've spoken to the people that own it, that are actually from Utah.
I didn't even know nothing about that, to be honest with you. I mean, I've seen some newer people out here, but I ain't got to nobody's business.
Yeah.
You know, I just stay to myself, and I got a few good
You know who
friends.
those neighbors were, or are you not privy to say that?
Did they go clear to Chris's?
Did they go Chris's? Or I thought it was Tracy. About
Or to
Tracy.
the fire station?
I don't know. It was somewhere about Tracy, I think, or the pond, wasn't it?
I don't know if they talked about going to the pond. I don't think they. I don't know if they ever did. So.
Now, do you hear his voice? That bothers me. He got aggravated with his wife, and he was like, I don't know if they talked about going to the pond. That bothers me. They didn't search his property. This man claims that he offered to go down with horses, and they told him he wasn't allowed to search. He reached out to somebody named Crystal, and it's not Crystal Spencer because she no longer lived there. And they reached out to somebody named Tracy. And then he gets aggravated with his wife when they mention a pond on Tracy's property. I don't know who these people are, but I feel that pond needs to be fucking searched. Just because of the tone in his voice. I want you to re-listen to that.
Did they go clear to Chris's?
Did they go Chris's? Or I thought it was Tracy. About
Or to
Tracy.
the fire station?
Oh, stop, John.
I don't know. It was somewhere about Tracy, I think, or the pond, wasn't it?
I don't know if they talked about going to the pond. I don't think they. I don't know if they ever did. So. Yeah, I just know that they talked about going. Our neighbors had a pond as well, and they talked about searching the pond, but I don't think they ever came over. I don't think they ever did.
That's troublesome to me.
What was the name?
Elite Frontier.
A Little Frontier?
Hold on, let me get the name of it again. It's on my video. Elite Frontier Adventures. I'm so curious why they only searched such a short distance, you know?
Yeah, but I don't have any idea.
All right. Well, thank you for the information that you gave. It's been very helpful.
Okay, thanks.
You have a good day. That right there. Are you reading it? This place looks really cool. Just sharing because it's close to Summer's home and owners are from Utah. Same exact spot Dawn is from. Same area. I also find it strange that they opened at the same time Dawn went to Utah. Literally the same week.
It is strange.
That's very strange. Fred left a comment, Marlena. He said, it's the third driveway going down the road past Mount Carmel Church on the right. Fred, do you know anything about this place? I'd be very curious because I do believe that it needs to be looked into. If you know anything about it, did you know about it prior to me just showing it? or is this something new to you? What do you know about this place? That's their names, Marlena.
Okay.
Gary and Elisa. It's 3571 Beach Creek Road, and it's 67.52 acres that they own. Hasn't been searched. People from the same area Dawn's from that moved in there while Dawn goes to Utah, they open up the secret resort, and it hasn't been searched. Do you have an issue with that, Marlena?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Yes. Okay, Fred says, I'm sorry, guys. I just know the location. I don't know them, but it's beside James Light's place. And on the other side, it's where Doug lived. Who's Doug? Do you know more, Elena?
What? Sorry.
Fred Hill wrote, I just know the location. I don't know them, but it's right beside James Light Place. And on the other side of it is where Doug Glott lived. I think he meant unalived.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know where he's talking about now, but I've never been there. I didn't even know it was back there.
That's kind of weird, don't you think? Don't you think if it's a resort, there should be a sign on Beach Creek saying, welcome to Elite Frontier, whatever?
Yeah.
There's no sign, there's no nothing. And it was sold to them just recently, I believe, through Morlocks. It's just funky to me. Okay, so let me go back to where we were. I just thought I'd pull that out and show that to you because I think Beach Creekers should know it's there. And I really have a problem with that not being searched. And I have a problem with the way he spoke about the pond that was not searched. Marlena,
Who said
you
it
heard
was at the pond?
Huh?
Who did he say that was going down to the pond?
He said it was at least Tracy's. He didn't give a name. He said there's a Tracy and a Crystal, and one of them have a pond, and that they didn't search the pond, and that he offered to go down on horses and search, and the police told him no. Yet they didn't search his 67 point whatever acres. That's a lot of acreage
Mm-hmm.
to not be searched. Okay, hold on. Here we go. All right, back to part 3.
Where at?
I guess it's more like behind Linda's property. There's a ranch with horses, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's like a resort, but they only want adults there. I've spoken to the people that own it that are actually from Utah.
I hadn't even I didn't even know nothing about that, to be honest with you. I mean, I've seen some newer people out here, but I ain't gotten into nobody's business.
Yeah.
You know, I just stay to myself, and I got a few good friends out here.
I wonder what they feel about that, because like I said, that ranch moved behind. They bought all the woods that were behind your properties.
Well,
Like
my property went back to the next road, the back road.
Yes, and that right there. So, which property was yours? Do you remember the address?
Mine was 3163 Beach Creek Road. That was
Yes.
my house.
Okay, so that's the one. Okay.
I had the mobile home was next to it. I think it's
3191.
No, that's where David's living at now.
Okay. And that was his dad's property then.
Right.
Okay. So Robert bought your property. Boy, I had that all wrong. I thought maybe you had left your property to David and Crystal.
Oh, hell no.
Here, and my neighbor Leroy up the road, he knows Linda way longer than I did, and even Crystal, he knew Crystal when she was, like 4 years old, because he helped them get down to Jonesboro, out here in Tennessee, and he said, that's one of the piss poorest women there ever was, because he was in court with Linda whenever she was supposed to. I think they got Earl. The last one they got was Earl, and she was supposed to have set all them kids up a trust fund and all that, what she was court ordered to do in Ohio. But he's even known Crystal, since she was a kid, and he don't even want Crystal around his house. He said, man, if you ever tell her, don't even come by or bother with me no more, because she asked him for a ride one day and asked to borrow some money from him, being the guy he was, he was nice enough and didn't know nothing, but come to find out, he found out that she had borrowed money from him and had him to run her up to some place to buy drugs. And boy, that tell you what, that was a straw to broke the camel's back. He said, David, I ain't into all that shit. I thought I was doing her a favor, that she was hungry and stuff. She went up and told him a bunch of lies. She plays people,
So does you guys have a lot of family in Tennessee then, right?
No. I was the only one down there in my family.
Oh.
I guess my kids down there, my grandbabies.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was my decision to move. Well, not mine, but the kids wanted to move. And I thought, if it's going to make a difference in my children's life, I'll have to try. It cost me $2,000 to move down there. I sold my house up here, bought another one. But, I did good. I did good.
I mean, and he don't want nothing to do with her. And like I say, I've never, even Miss Benton, the lady that lived here, she's just a good old Christian woman, and she never said something good about her,
Yeah. Do you know, did Crystal actually live with Dawn and Candace?
Yeah, they were up there she was up there for a while, off and on several times. And I guess once she slept with Donnie, that was what ended that. But Candace and Donnie tried helping her out, but I didn't know what and all they do. I know they drank too much. I didn't go out with them or nothing like that. Anytime we went up, it was just to go visit for a little bit and come back,
Okay. She told me about some friends that she was staying with because David kicked her out and they were helping her.
Yes, that would be the Wells.
And I said, you make sure you thank them and stuff. And she says, oh, Mama, she says, I help. And I said, okay.
But I understand Candace and Crystal were really good friends at one point.
Yeah, I can remember her talking about Candace,
Did Crystal actually live with Dawn and Candace?
Yeah, they were up there she was up there for a while, off and on several times. And I guess once she slept with Donnie, that was, what ended that. But Candace and Donnie tried helping her out, but I didn't know what and all they do. I know they drank too much. I didn't go out with them or nothing like that. Anytime we went up, it was just to go visit for a little bit and come back,
Yeah, the reason I ask is because Crystal told me that she had seen Candace and Dawn allowing the kids to smoke weed. Like Candace would leave a joint in the ashtray and one of the children would pick it up, would pick the joint up. Before you hear the answer to that, Marlena, had you ever seen any of the children smoking weed or the Wells giving the kids weed or alcohol?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You know what? David denies that, but Crystal gets very graphic about it. You'll hear it when we get there. And smoke it, and Candace would allow it. She would leave it there, and that Crystal had witnessed this. Have you ever witnessed anything like that?
No, I hadn't sit there and done. I don't do nothing like that in front of youngin'. You know.
Do you know? Have you
that,
ever?
That was probably one of them nights that they were sitting up there partying or whatever. You know what I mean? While I was sitting here taking care of John, I couldn't. I mean, honestly, I couldn't tell you that I'd seen it. You know what I mean? Because I hadn't.
Yeah, well, she told me that night in particular, she wasn't there long, that she had just stopped by to smoke with Candace because one of them had called each other and said that they were going to smoke with her, and she went up to smoke, and Candace had left the thing in the ashtray for the boy to grab.
I couldn't tell you nothing on that, hon. I weren't there. You know, I don't get involved in nothing like that. And like I say, I like them, to a point, but, as far as, associating, like I'm going up there every day, it was mainly for the kids. Candace was a nice girl, I thought. I didn't shoot her business. She's always treated me and John nice, you know what I mean? I never done nothing out of the way in front of me or him, you know what I mean? I guess they knew I didn't like that shit, or I wouldn't put up with it.
Have you ever seen Dawn and Candace abuse the kids?
I've seen them holler too much when they were drunk, and my dad, after Mom died, he drank too much. I know that feeling, but I think alcohol was one of their biggest problems, because you know how you get when you get drunk,
Yeah.
you get stupid. But
you've never seen them hit the kids though?
No, I've never seen no physical violence myself.
Okay, well that's good.
I've seen them holler, at them, and even John, he just said that he's never seen them being hit. Or
Marlena and Fred, you're both in here. Have you seen the Wells be violent with their children? Marlena, can y'all hear me? Can Chad hear me? I don't know what just happened here. Jesus Christ. Okay, you can hear me. Marlena must have just taken a break. We'll just listen to this until she comes back. Remember that question.
Struck by Donnie or Candace.
Do you know about Dawn and Candace using drugs at all?
I just knew that they drank and burned a little bit of weed. About all I knew about them. I mean, I weren't up there partying with them. I'd stop up and
she'll be back.
Like I say, I didn't do nothing with them.
Yeah.
Mostly, she might call her, hey, why don't you bring John up, let him play with the kids, and I'd go up there and just visitate, just trying to be a good friend and good neighbor, and just and plus, there's not a whole lot of kids out here, you know what I mean? So, like today, it's just been me and John around the house, I'm recuperating from a spider bite.
He probably misses summer. He's probably so confused.
Every time that he sees that poster, man, I can see a light kind of go out of him. I hope they find Summer. I mean, it's ate him up, and it hurt him, and then it kills me to see him hurting like that, and it also pisses me off that there's someone out here snatching kids, and since that happened, I mean, I won't let him out of my. I mean, I was always like, a Papa Bear standing over the back of his little one, but now that it happened, it's a whole lot worse. You know what I mean? I mean, I just want, almost just want to tote a shotgun around with him when I'm out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you believe that Summer was abducted then?
Someone's got to know something. I mean, dang, the little girl, and even John told me, I asked him if she ever wandered off by herself, And he said, no, not without her brothers. If her brothers weren't there, she wouldn't do that, Dad.
Yeah, that's true. But when Cancer told he was missing when we got home, and it was not true, but when someone came down to our house and said someone was missing, when we went to Cancer's house the other day, he said she wandered off by the driveway.
Yeah.
No one's seen her last.
John says she ain't never, I mean, 'cause they'd go out and run around in the woods, with her, how kids are.
Yeah, but she never leaves.
And he said that Summer was always with the boy.
You hear him? That's David. That's David Britt's little son, little Johnny. He's an amazing little boy. And he loved Summer just like Marlena's daughter did. And when Fred, I'm sorry, I'm going to fucking say it. When you have people like Fred attacking David, they're putting that baby in danger. I don't want no attacks on him after this. After I share this, I have reservations sharing this anymore because of this. Because last time I shared it, Fred Hill went on an attack after David. Fred, don't fucking do it. That baby's life matters. And he loved that little girl. Listen to his sweet voice. Do you know Johnny, Marlena?
No, of him. I ain't seen him in a very long time.
I mean, it hurts Journey. Could you imagine the other children it hurts in the area? The kids had other friends. All them children live in fear. We spoke about this the other day when Marlena was on the panel. Them babies live in fear. They want to know what happened to their friend. It isn't normal for other children to just disappear off the earth. And it's not emotionally healthy for the other children that live in the area. And then you have all the YouTubers coming down there tramping on property. These kids don't know what's going on. You're damaging them emotionally. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yep.
Boy, she wouldn't just go wander off by herself.
Yeah, well, that was my next question, because Crystal had also told me that she would see the kids wander down on the beach creek, and I was going to ask you, have you ever seen Summer?
They know better than to go off of that.
So you answered that for me. I didn't even have to ask.
Did you hear me? They knew better than to go off of that hill.
Yeah. Well, Crystal said that they would go off the hill, but little Johnny will say in this in just a minute, or unless he already said it and we missed it, that Summer only went with her brothers into the woods. Like the oldest brother, and you got to remember, he was 14 years old. He was old enough to babysit and take his sister out. I'm sure Summer went and played with her brothers.
No, I even asked John because I was trying to figure out, something, it was just so devastating, you know what I mean? But
I would test you wander off is with me, both of the brothers, or all of us.
And every time we were there, them 4 kids was out playing together.
And that's what's sad, because not only is Summer gone now, but the boys aren't there. Aw, John, I'm so sorry that your friend cannot be found.
Yeah, no.
Just keep praying, baby, because answers are coming. So, can I ask you, have you ever been on drugs?
Yeah, back in the day, I was on cocaine back in that.
That's very blunt. Well, that was the reason I'm asking you is because
a lifetime ago. You know what I mean? But
that's what I said.
Last time I got my butt out of trouble, I made 2 decisions. I had a decision to make. I'm either going to put a bullet in my head or I'm going to get my life right. And I don't like eating lead. And I've been cleaning ever since '85.
Yeah, that's what I seen in your records. What's up? And I seen that you do have charges from Florida to North Carolina, but when you got to Tennessee, you and your brother Robert have been on the up and up since coming to Tennessee.
Yeah, I quit all that stupid shit. Ever since my mom passed when I was 5 years old on Christmas Day, I think it just kind of screwed me up. You know, my life went from being pretty good to just downright shitty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know, man. I just had a real bad attitude, and it seemed like it got worse as I got bigger. And you know,
She used to call me, and I used to send her and David money until I figured out what they were doing. Okay, this is what happened. Crystal, when she got pregnant, she didn't even know she was pregnant. She did not even know she was pregnant. She went into.
Now, Miss Linda accuses David of being on drugs. Am I going to say the dude's been on drugs or not? That's not my place to say because I don't know. What I do know is when I talk to him, he looks sober. And when you look at photos of him, he looks sober. So I don't know that Miss Linda's telling truth here. Marlena, could you answer that?
Yeah, he was back. He was on drugs back in the day, but he's cleaned up. He cleaned up when that baby come along.
That's what I thought. And he hasn't been in trouble since 1980. Everybody has 85. Everybody has a past, and his charges were horrible. Don't get me wrong. They included drug trafficking and violence. He had a lot of charges on him, but they just completely stopped. And he's been raising this baby. So, I mean, I like David.
You want to look at somebody's drug charges? Look at Fred Hills. He's got 6 felonies in one account, just like 6 felonies in just like one stretch.
You know, Fred's in the chat, right? Did you see him?
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
No, I just wanted to know if there's anything you want to say to him. Now would be your time.
Yeah, he needs to get a hold of me. And my email's there. He needs to get a hold of me like ASAP. And I'm not playing.
Okay. Fred, I advise you reach out to Marlena. You can even come up on my panel if you want, but we know you won't.
Need to tell your woman to take down my kid's daddy's picture, my picture, anything that's got to do with me, make her stop. Or you all stop, whatever. Or I will go to Hawkins County and file a report on you. And that breaks your parole. Which you already broke it anyway, right?
All right, I'm going to finish this video and then I'm going to come back. I got to go to the bathroom and do a few things, and I want to get through the rest of these. So I'm going to come back probably about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and we can go over the rest of the Brit videos because I think these need to be gone over in full since we started it. Okay, let's finish the last couple minutes on this.
To see her doctor because he wasn't feeling good. And the doctor told her, "You're in labor. I want you in that hospital." She had nothing for that baby. They were living in a car. They found a car seat on the side of the road. That is all she had. So, mom, being mom, I call, get the baby a bed. I call and get her everything like wipes, diapers, clothes, first rattles,
Cursed, I asked you some questions in my chat. In my comment section. We spoke a little bit this morning. I'd like to speak further to you about it, but not here on this live. Okay? If you could answer the last one I sent you. I don't want arguments. I just want answers. But that's not for this live, but we need to talk. You have my number. I would appreciate if you called me.
everything you need to check a baby temperature and all this. I ordered that all from Walmart, had it delivered to my house. I let them live in my house because I was going to put it up for sale on Beach Creek.
Right.
All David had to do, it had new carpeting in the den, and my house was beautiful. I mean, I was getting ready to sell it. I let David and Crystal live in there. They lived there for about 6 months. Well, they didn't pay the electric bill because that's all they had to do is pay the freaking electric bill and cut the grass. Well, he didn't want to cut the grass, and it cost me $100 a week to have somebody come out. Well, not $100 a week. She charged me $200 a month, so that's like $50 a week. So it cost me $200 a month to have my grass cut. because he was too damn lazy to get out that broken.
Is that your brother? Tricky Ricky. Ricky, we spoke. I offered for people to send Marlena money or a message in her email. Honestly, it's not that I don't want to. It's that I just don't. I've never done that on my channel, number one. And number two, I've been through a lot of shit on here, and I don't want my channel attacked again. So there's a lot of reasons I don't, but I did give people an opportunity to write Marlena and figure all that out for her. I just don't want to do it on my channel, and I apologize. And thank you for being here, Mr. Ricky Crawford.
That's not my brother.
It ain't?
It ain't my brother or my daddy.
Okay, well, he put Tricky Ricky sticky fingers. Y'all should be putting up my sister's Cash App because she's talking.
That's not my brother.
Okay, well, I'm going to delete that. But that's her Cash App. It's been put out in my chat when I didn't want it to. We're going to just delete that comment. I'm not even going
Because
to put him
that's
in a...
pretty funny. My brother's laying over here sick, asleep. That's not my brother.
Please stop. Don't do that in my chat. You know what my rules are, and you're going to cause my channel problems, and it's done on purpose. Don't do that.
It's probably somebody from PG's.
Probably.
Recliner that he was in with a fan on his ass, and I had air conditioning in that house. Okay, and Darla says he went in there and he had air conditioning, or he had the fan on his ass and wouldn't move. Okay, you know what he did with the bed? They took that. I paid $1,500 for that bed because it was one of those.
No, I know. He's saying he's not asleep. He's in chat, and he's your brother.
He got older, and then it would turn
Can I
into
show you?
a full-size bed.
Yeah.
You know, I got it at Walmart.
If you turn it off to where they can't see, I'll show you that it was my brother asleep.
Go ahead, just share it on the screen. Take a picture. Turn your camera on and just point your phone at him. This is ridiculous. Just point the camera right at your brother. You're banned. Thank you, Marlena.
You're welcome.
Heifer took it back and got the money for it. He took back most of all the stuff Crystal had and got the money for it so he could buy paint pills. He got my grandson a bed from Shepherd's Corner that had paint chips all over it. He was chewing my grandson when my sister went in there. She was livid.
I can't hear you.
All right, so that was the last one I'm going to share. I got to remember which one we was. I'll look in my history. I'm going to come back, Marlena, if you want to come back at 8 or 9 and go over the rest of the David Britt videos. I'll text you and let you know when I'm going to come live. I have to go see my grandkids and see what's going on in my house.
I mean, no, they try to make it out as my brother, and it wasn't.
It wasn't. She just showed us that. She
tell him to try again.
That person was banned and blocked from my chat. I did not ask that Marlena's Cash App go up. They came in and did that on purpose, and I would like you all to stop. That's the games people play. Why? Why?
Because they're jealous.
Something. But all right, guys, I'm going to get off. I'll see you guys. I'm going to say closer to 9. I'm always late. I'll text you more. Thank you all for being here. Peace and love. I think we got a lot out listening to these videos. I've been trying to get people to listen to them for a long time. I think they hold a little bit of significance, and I think that ranch really needs to be looked into much deeper. That's just my opinion. I feel funny that they didn't search that 60 whatever acres.
Me too.
and that they're from Utah, and the tone in that guy's voice. It bothers me. All right, guys. Thank you, Patricia. I appreciate you all being here. Peace and love to all. I promise I will be back later tonight. I'm not going to blow you off, let's hope, because I have a habit of doing that. I try not to. But I'll see you all later. Okay. Marlena, I'll talk to you later tonight. Thank you so much for joining me on panel. If you want to talk to Marlena about her Cash App, it's Marlena Crawford at what's your email? Gmail.
Marlena Crawford 1987 at Gmail.
Okay. You guys can just message her directly instead of going through me. Hey, Becca's Eyes, I've been sharing your stuff. Anybody, if you see her stuff on my community post, she's been really digging into some stuff. Go ahead and sub up to her.
She was talking about me the other day.
Uh-oh. I think she was confused. I think PG had a lot of people tricked. Give them a chance.
PG's got a lot of people brainwashed and tricked. They believe all of her stories and they're not all true, and she makes up stuff as she goes along.
Oh, we need to talk more about this Jimmy Long stuff. There's just so much to talk about. I don't have enough time in a day. I'd have to sit on here 24 hours a day to get it all out, and then people don't understand it because it's too much information at one time. That's why I try to stay on track with one thing, and I don't always do really well with that. But like we were supposed to go over Jeremy Pell's podcast, but we'll get there. There's tons of stuff to go over that people haven't listened to on my channel because of the lawsuits and things. So we'll be going over everything again. All right. Peace and love to you all. Thank you, Marlena.
Bye. You're welcome.
I'll see you all somewhere between 8 and 10, we'll say.
Okay.
Guys.